is Jessica, and today I'm going to be sharing with you my top 10 makeup and beauty must-haves for when you're traveling. So let's get into it. So the first thing I think of when I think of traveling, especially in an airplane, is dry skin. Because for me, I don't really have the driest skin anymore, but I know that when I'm flying, no matter what, I can just feel like the moisture being sucked out of my skin and my hair and my hands and my eyes. I mean, I just leave feeling very dry, whether it's a 2-hour flight or a 10-hour flight. So the first thing I thought of when I thought about dry skin was this thermal spring water. I bought this when I was in France, actually, this past summer, and you can buy it online here in the States, so I will link it below. It is just this aerosol mist that you can spray on your face when you're feeling really dry, and it just adds moisture back into your skin. And I find that it feels really refreshing, but not only that, but it makes my skin look less crepey and like if it were powdery just from just having makeup sit on your face. This is awesome to just throw on top, whether you're in the airport like bathroom, or maybe you're even on the airplane in the bathroom right before you're getting off and you just want to spray it. Of course, they sell bigger bottles of this, but I just buy the small size because I don't use it every single day in my regular life, but I always use it when I travel. I love this stuff. So speaking of dry skin, the first place I notice that I have dryness when I'm flying is right here. So any like concealer I maybe have here, anything like that, I can see it like where my crow's feet are. My miracle product is from e.l.f. and this is a really inexpensive product. It's called their Daily Moisture Stick, and it's basically a stick that you can roll up, and it's a clear balm. And the way you use it is, you could use a brush, but I always just use my finger and get some of the clear balm on my finger, and then I just pat it in this region, and anything that was dry just is instantly moisturized. It's kind of like it blends together your makeup with your skin, and it adds a little moisture, so it ends up looking flawless again the way you applied it, if not even better than when you applied it. And I remember being really doubtful of this product when I first bought it because I thought, well, it's gonna mess up my concealer or my makeup or whatever's going on there, but it doesn't. It really is. As long as you're not rubbing it back and forth, as long as you're just kind of pressing it and tapping it into the skin, it is amazing. The next product I would recommend is an awesome lip balm. Not just any lip balm, but one that is truly moisturizing. My favorite is from C.O. Bigelow. They sell it at Bath & Body Works and online. It's called My Favorite Night Balm, and I use it morning, day, night, anytime. It's just it's a thick balm, but it's still kind of creamy. And I like that it's in a squeezy tube, so it's really easy to use, whereas like a potted balm, you're constantly putting your hands in, and like on airplanes, you're touching so many different things. So I love this, and it's just so moisturizing, and it stays on for a couple of hours, whereas some balms I've tried will just wear off really quickly. And it's inexpensive as well, so this is one that I swear by, I've used for years, and I would recommend to anyone. The next thing I would recommend is an awesome hand cream. I've been loving this Skin Fix one. It's just called their hand repair cream. I think I got this in a subscription box a couple months ago, but it's just a really creamy one. L'Occitane makes really nice ones. I mean, there's so many brands that make really nice hand creams, so you really can't go wrong if it's one that you've tried before that you like, because again, especially right now, it's winter time, but any time of year, in fact, I'm gonna put some on right now, it just feels so nice to get some, especially on the back of your hands. I feel like I always end up rubbing most of it on the inside of my hands, so I try and apply it first to like my knuckles and the outside. That way that gets most of the moisture, since that's really the part that gets the driest for me. So I love having a great hand cream with you at all times in your carry-on. The next thing I would recommend to kind of zhuzh up your hair, because for me, my hair falls really flat really easily, but not only that, it gets oily really quickly. And so even if my skin is dry, my hair just gets kind of gross and matted down on like 8 or 10-hour flights. So I've got two recommendations kind of in one. I would recommend a dry shampoo above all else. This is the Batiste one. They have a million different scents. This one's in the scent Blush, and it just smells really nice. But you just spray it in your roots, let it sit and kind of dry for a minute or two, and then you just kind of use your fingers to kind of tousle it and rub it in. And if you put a lot, it can have a white cast. So if you have dark hair like me, you want to be aware of that. There are some that have a brown tint to it. I know Oscar Blondie makes a really nice brunette one. Batiste makes a brunette one too, but it ends up getting all over my hands, so I don't love that. But anyway, but it's just a great way to add volume back to your hair, suck up any oil, and like if it's matted down, just to help with that. And it really helps if you're wanting to, maybe you got on the plane with hair like down and then by the time you're getting off, you're like, I just want to throw my hair into a cute messy bun. This is a great way to kind of add some texture to your hair and give some volume, so it's really easy to throw into just a messy, cute updo when you get off the plane. And then another one kind of lumped with that, this is a really expensive one, but I've fallen in love with it and I had to mention it. It's the Oribe Dry Texturizing Spray. Similar to a dry shampoo in that it's not necessarily sticky, and it kind of just adds volume and texture to your hair. It doesn't soak up oil the same way a dry shampoo does, but it's amazing. It really helps make updos look awesome. Speaking of hair and staying on that note, I would also recommend this Macadamia Healing Oil Treatment. This is great if you tend to have really dry ends to your hair. You could get a tiny, tiny bit and even just work it through your ends just throughout your day. There are lots of other dry oils that are great for that too if you have, maybe you tend to have oilier hair. But this is also just great to bring with you for your trip because it's a small little bottle, and then I just have my bigger one that I refilled this with, so I don't have to bring my big one and I don't have to repurchase this all the time. But just having some sort of oil that works great for your ends on your trip, because if you're going to a different climate, you don't really know how that's going to affect your hair, but it's nice to have something that you know works with your hair with you in maybe a smaller container like this. The next thing I would recommend is investing in a good quart-sized clear bag. I used to travel, I travel all the time, and I used to use just a true quart-sized Ziploc bag, but then it'd get all ripped up by the halfway through the trip, and then I'd need a different one to be able to take that stuff back home. And it always just stressed me out, so I would use the old one that's all a mess. Finally, I invested I think $4 or $5 for this at, I want to say CVS, somewhere like that. I'll find some that are available online that are similar and link them below. But I bought this years ago. It has lasted me. I can wipe it out, I can clean it, but it's a really thick one. It's TSA approved, which virtually any of these are as long as it's clear, but you can even buy ones that say TSA approved on it. But as long as you can see through it and it's the right size, you're good to go. And I just like that it had a little bit of pink to it, but it was just a worthwhile couple dollar investment that has saved me a lot of kind of stress with that. The next thing I would recommend investing in is a really good, not just makeup bag, but kind of toiletry all-in-one bag. This one's from a brand called Kestrel. If I can find it online, I'll link it. I bought mine on HoteLook.com, which that stuff on there kind of comes and goes, so I don't know, but I will look for this online. It's really, really well made. It's got a handle, it zips up, but it's got enough compartments that I can put toiletries in there, whatever I need. And I would say this is better for a checked bag because it is bigger, and I don't always check bags. In fact, for many trips I just use carry-on. You could put this kind of a bag in here, but you just have to remember that when you go through security, you're gonna have to take it out. So you'd want it to be easily accessible if you're carrying this on. But if you're checking it, you could put anything you want. You could fit full-size things if you're just doing a road trip. You could fit full-size hairsprays in this. So it's really well made. I love that it has different compartments. It was a very worthwhile investment. The next part I'm gonna recommend is some skincare stuff. Invest in some makeup removing towelettes. I don't use makeup remover wipes on my face every day when I'm at home, but I will buy little packs of them because they're so much easier to travel with rather than bringing cotton rounds and a little bottle of the stuff that might spill. This is easy. I don't have to put it in my liquids container, so it doesn't take up that precious space. So these are both from the brand La Fresh. There's a bunch of brands out there that sell stuff. I just have these on hand. I like this because it comes with 8 wipes, so if it's just a week-long trip, I can just pack this tiny little thing. I'm good to go for 8 nights of taking my makeup off. These are great for weekend trips. These are separately wrapped ones, so I can just grab 2 of them and not worry about bringing an entire thing of 30 wipes or anything like that. I like the smaller packs for that reason. They're not really practical for if you're using them every day, I don't think, but for trips, they're perfect and they don't take up a lot of room. And you don't have to worry about bringing them back home with you because you'll have used them up and they're not even in your luggage anymore. The last thing I'm gonna recommend is bring a face wash that you know works with your skin. I am so guilty of, for a couple of years, I would just buy cutesy little, travel size face washes that were cute, but I never really tried them. Maybe I tried them once before I went, but it wasn't the one I had already used with my skin. And it ended up either not cleaning my skin well enough or my skin reacted really badly. There was one trip, I remember we went to Disney, and my skin reacted terribly to whatever I had been using, that face wash. And I had to end up buying another one while there, and it was such a to-do because in Disney it's not as easy to get to a regular store. Anyway, so This, for example, is one that I ended up buying online specifically because I knew it worked well with my skin and I wanted the travel size for that purpose. So this is the First Aid Beauty Face Cleanser. It works well for me. This isn't me necessarily recommending this one. I'm just recommending that even if it's a couple dollars more to buy whatever face wash you're using, or just buy one of those cheap little refillable containers, take your face wash and squeeze it into there or pump it into there. That way you have what you're used to using and not you're just buying, you know, a Dove face wash because it's there but you've never used it. You know what I mean? I'm not knocking Dove face wash, I've never used it, but you get what I'm saying. So those were my top 10 travel beauty must-haves. I hope that this was a helpful video for you guys. I certainly have tried a lot of different skincare and makeup and lots of trial and error when it comes to traveling, both with carry-ons and with checked luggage. If you'd like to see more travel videos on my channel, definitely let me know down below, and I will link my playlist of other videos I've done that are travel related below as well. And I hope that you'll subscribe and join our little family here, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye!